Few things affect a man's ego as much as realizing, too late, that he lost a woman he shouldn't have. Curiously, regret rarely shows up at the moment of the breakup. At the time of separation, many men appear calm. Some even look relieved. Others act as if nothing has truly changed. Yet, time has a fascinating way of revealing a person's worth. When a woman's presence ceases to be part of a man's daily life, two things begin to unfold. First, he notices the emptiness that wasn't there before. Second, he starts comparing consciously or unconsciously everything that comes next with what he once had, and it is precisely at this point that regret takes root. However, there's something important that few explain. You don't make a man regret by chasing after him. You don't make him regret by begging for his attention. And you certainly don't achieve this by trying to prove that you're still available. In fact, the more a woman tries to convince a man of her worth, the less impact it tends to have. True regret does not stem from insistence. It arises from absence combined with late realization. There are specific attitudes that facilitate this realization naturally. These are not emotional games. These are not manipulations. They are stances that completely alter how he begins to see you after losing you. The first thing that makes a man start to feel the weight of loss is when you don't react as he expected. Many men, even when they decide to end things or distance themselves, still envision a predictable script. Messages trying to understand what happened, attempts at reconciliation, emotional discussions. When this occurs, he continues to feel that he still has a guaranteed place in your life. But when he encounters something different, the impact shifts entirely. You accept the end with dignity. You don't create dramatic scenes. You don't plead for endless explanations. And you simply keep on living. This behavior shatters a very common expectation, because he realizes something he wasn't anticipating. You're not trying to convince him to stay. And when someone realizes they are no longer the center of your emotional energy, something changes within the power dynamics of the relationship. The second attitude that triggers regret is when you don't try to appear fine. You genuinely start to rebuild your life. There's a huge difference between these two approaches. Some people try to showcase happiness to provoke a reaction. They post indirect messages. They create an image of moving on, but deep down, they remain emotionally tied to the past. What truly makes an impact is when the change is authentic. You begin investing time in yourself, in personal projects, in friendships, in experiences that no longer revolve around the ended relationship. Gradually, your energy transforms. You stop being the woman who lost someone and become the woman who continues to grow regardless of who stayed or left. When he notices this, even if just observing from afar, something begins to unsettle him, because he realizes the story hasn't ended the way he imagined. Another factor that often sparks reflection in many men is when they lose emotional access to you. During the relationship, he knew exactly how to affect you. He knew what made you happy. He knew what irritated you. He knew which actions triggered a response. Once you move on emotionally, that access disappears. The reactions become different. You don't respond with the same intensity. You don't react to small provocations. You don't engage in unnecessary arguments. And this creates a very clear sensation. He no longer has the same impact on you. For many men, realizing they've lost that emotional influence is a silent shock, because it signifies that something has genuinely changed. Another powerful point is contrast. When you were together, he understood your routine. He knew where you were, who you were talking to, what your days were. Like after the breakup, that visibility fades away. And when you no longer feel the need to showcase every detail of your life, a space for curiosity opens up. He starts to wonder things he didn't need to before. Is she happy? Has she met someone new? Has she changed? The human brain tends to fill the unknown with imagination. The less access he has to your new reality, the greater the impact of that loss tends to be. But there's an even stronger point, perhaps the most important of all. True regret arises when he realizes that you didn't just move on, you evolved, not just in looks or on social media, but in how you carry yourself in life, more confident, more at ease, more aware of your own worth. When a man realizes he lost someone who didn't diminish herself to keep him close, he starts to rethink his own decision, because he understands something that many only realize too late. There are many people in the world, but few leave a true mark on our story. And when someone loses a woman with presence, character, dignity, and value, regret often surfaces just when access is no longer the same. Now I want to ask you a very sincere question. If someone leaves your life, do you want that person back out of loneliness? Or do you want them back because they finally recognize the value they had by your side? Because those are two completely different things. Women who understand their worth don't spend their time trying to convince anyone to stay. They simply live in a way that makes their absence impossible to overlook. And often, it's this very stance that makes someone realize too late what they've lost. If this content resonated with you, go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel, because here we discuss relationships, male behavior, and female value in depth, without cliches or games. In the next video, I'll reveal 6 behaviors of a man who lost interest but still wants to keep you close. This is a topic that opens many eyes. See you in the next video.